Welcome to the Make Me Better podcast. Hey everybody, I'm Misty Rooks, and this is the Make Me Better podcast. Today I get to talk to Dr. Chad McDill. I want to welcome him to the show.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
All right, so I know you as Dr. Chad, and so you've been practicing chiropractic care for over 20 years.
Yep, 20 here in Trenton.
In Trenton, okay. And we know you as a family man, a community man, but before you were Dr. Chad, who were you and where were you going?
Well, I guess I was, and if I go back to the kind of chiropractic origin story, so to speak, I was a teenage kid going to University of Georgia.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, go Dogs. That's right. I had just gotten back from living in Saudi Arabia for a while, and yeah, it was interesting.
Wow.
Dad was rebuilding an airport there. And so we were there, and I came back and started UGA, and just thought I knew everything just like every other teenage kid, and was going into business and getting started with life. Yeah. And I was big into powerlifting, and I was in bodybuilding, powerlifting. And so I was squatting really, really heavy one day, and I compression fractured a couple vertebrae, and kind of woke up in the floor. Thankfully, the guy, and I can't even remember his name. I cannot remember the name of the guy who saved my life. Like, I know it's just so wild, but he caught me in the weight and racked it for me and kept me from getting crushed. And I woke up in the floor, and then went to the ER and found out I'd crushed some vertebra. And so that's the first time I really took any stock in chiropractic and really started to think about, my body and the things I was going through. And it was also the beginning of a downward spiral.
Okay. Now, being that young, did it hit you how serious it was?
Of course not. No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I was still invincible. Yeah. Yes, not yet. Yeah. It was installment number 2 into the development of Dr. Chad that really, so I, of course, became invincible again. I spent about 4 months in bed because it was in my mid back. And so I couldn't lay down. I couldn't really do anything. I was actually just in a recliner. So I was just stuck in a recliner for several months while those vertebrae healed. And I was out of work, and I drove trucks to pay for college. So I was out of work and couldn't do anything. So a lot of time on my hands. I kind of got introduced to pain pills and muscle relaxers and anything else I could do that would help them work better.
Yeah.
And it kind of started a bad path for me, that was for sure. And, but I rallied, I had to get back into school and, so I went back to work and got back just in time for Christmas break to go drive trucks back in Dalton, where my mom was. And but I wrecked one faithful morning at about 5 a.m. and I rolled it over down a huge culvert to avoid hitting a lady who had a baby seat in the back. So it was for good reason. You're driving and they're in your lane, and you think, oh, just going to have to hit them, but no. So I dumped my truck down this huge hill, and the box was full of ice. So it crushed the cab and twisted me up underneath it. And it, I'd just gotten released to work from compression fracture.
Oh man.
So, hadn't gotten all that, strength back or anything. So it herniated my lumbar discs and twisted me up into a ball in the bottom of the floorboard. And, there I sat thinking I was going to die. And that's when it hit me that's when I found out about life and that it was probably going to be over.
So how old were you at this point?
20.
20 years old. Okay. And so from there,
Yeah.
From there, what happened? Did you get to finish school? I mean, what do you do after that?
Well, I wasn't finishing much. I was back in the bed this time, and back on the same things I'd just gotten out of my system, and that was the reinstallment. That was part of the big awakening that I sure was getting financial aid. I was still collecting that, but I wasn't attending classes. And I would drop out and then, and I'd do the game of because I was not getting better. I just wasn't. I wasn't able to really walk on my own. I could use crutches and kind of get around uh, yeah, so it was just to the bathroom and back all day,
Wow.
and I was a bit of a mess, and so I wasn't going anywhere fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how would you describe yourself, your mindset at your lowest point?
Um, well, gosh, those are things you try to forget about.
Right.
I buried that one.
Right.
But I would say I remember waking up one morning, and it happened to be the same morning my girlfriend had a chat with me that said, and thinking I didn't know if I could breathe. Like I was so medicated and
Oh,
so
wow.
intoxicated and so many, things that I woke up because I couldn't breathe. And, that was, but I couldn't really move to get up out of bed and all the things. And, so at that point, I was informed, that I was a mess and that I needed help. And so she took me to her local chiropractor. I had known about chiropractic. My uncle was chiropractor in Trenton. And so, but that was many hours away and just the random thing when I was a kid. And so then now I went to the chiropractor, her chiropractor, Dr. Michael Huppert. And so I thank him for being one of the people who saved my life and got me turned around. But I went every day and he worked on me every single day for a month. Like I'd go there in the morning. It's not like I was going to class. So yeah,
You had the time.
yeah, I had plenty of time. But he would work on me every day, multiple times a day and let me sleep there. And then by the time I started walking out of his office unassisted, he sat me down out front and said, man, you are a train wreck still. You're still taking all that crap and you're lost. What are you going to do with yourself, son? And I didn't have an answer, because I couldn't drive trucks. I couldn't work. I couldn't, all the things.
Yeah.
So
So, was this the turning point or did something come after this?
there was a lot after that. There was, I'd love to think it was that easy, but
Yeah.
when you've been on those things for a year and you're pretty deep and you're still having a lot of problems, it wasn't a clean exit, but that was the awakening. And
There
somebody
you
threw
go.
me a lifeline that said, hey, I'll give you a job. I'll teach you to be a chiropractor. And then once I've done what I will do for you, I will ask you to do something for me. And that's how he left it. And it was kind of this open, I'm telling you, I'm baiting you. I'm making this, but I'm going to do this for you if you'll. And he really did. He took me in, he gave me a job. He taught me,
Wow.
he paid me, even though I owed him thousands of dollars for what he'd already done.
That's
So
amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So, one person made such a huge
Mhm.
difference
Mhm.
in your life.
Yes.
Where were you headed before that? I mean, what was your goal? What was your career going to be before this all happened and you went into chiropractic?
I was a business major.
Business.
Yeah, just
Okay.
follow my dad's footsteps, kind of thing. Thought maybe I'd get into some sort of corporate work or something, and didn't really have all that much direction. But it certainly wasn't, you know, changing majors, losing a year in school, and signing on for a, major in biology and all the things that I had to do to become qualified to go to chiropractic school. And so,
Okay. So, I think this is so cool. So, healthcare, medical field, none of that was on the radar
no,
at all.
no, I didn't.
You suffer tragedy.
Mhm.
basically become a different person
Oh, I was different. All right.
and get launched onto a different path
Mm-hmm.
in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so today, I'm sure this has made you into the doctor and the person and the friend that you are today. So if we go back in time and you never have the accident,
Mm.
you know, are you still the same person today?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are,
Right.
hindsight, we look back and, in the moment, it's all tragedy and survival and all the things that it takes
Hmm.
to make it through the day. And I know that's true for me. I know that I wouldn't have, I might be sympathetic. I might be in a job or have come to be in a place where I could help people, but it would be from sympathy and not empathy. I wouldn't have been able to connect as well
Hmm.
and be a part of, that's really what has empowered me to be able to be the doctor I am, and to be as excited and, philosophically, driven to help
Right.
people. And that's really what it is. I mean, because I remember after I did get better and I did slowly drag myself out of that hole um, of opioids and all the things, he said, "Hey, so that thing you're going to do for me is you're going to go to chiropractic school and then you're going to turn around and you're going to do this for as many people as you can." And that's been a huge deal. That was like, it was wow, okay, and my life has purpose. Now I can, bam,
Yes.
this gives me my drive.
Yes.
It gave me my target,
Yeah.
not to just become a doctor, but to return the favor as many times as I could. I loved that
Yes.
statement from him. Like, you've got to do this as many times as you can. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
you just did it once, like, I'm still only 21,
Yeah.
and really? Many times? Yeah, I think so. And that was great.
Okay, so let's stop here for a minute because a lot of times in life we experience trauma. We're going through difficult circumstances, and a lot of times we are really just surviving that.
Hmm.
So how do we turn that from survival into becoming better, going through these hard circumstances, and you come out on the other side instead of just saying, okay, I'm glad that's over with?
Hmm.
I mean, what can we do to actually be mindful while we're going through it to make ourselves better, to allow this thing to work something in us
Hmm.
so that we can be transformed and that we can actually see something good come from it and not just see it as this is a hard thing I went through and now it's over.
Well, I think that being the being fortunate enough and then being forward thinking enough to create ourselves and others and cultivate the conversations with our kids that say, this is coming. Most likely, there will be trials, there will be things. And then when you're in the midst of it in the storm, the beacon you're looking for is what am I going to get out of this? What am I going to take from this? How's this doing something for me? What can I cling on to for hope? And then having people to be there. Because if it wasn't for him,
Yes.
right, I wouldn't have had anybody and I wouldn't have gone in the direction. So there's got to be people out there that are allowing themselves to be used in a way to do that and looking for it. And in our busy world, right? I mean, we're
Yes.
so captivated right now with all the things that don't allow us to think we have enough bandwidth, enough strength to look around and see who needs help. But I mean, is the most rewarding thing always is service.
Hmm.
And so that's one of the things that I like about this that we're
Yeah.
talking
Yes.
is
Yeah.
service.
So if we are just always surviving the next thing, then we don't really have that power to help somebody else.
Hmm.
So you've got to get in the mindset of, okay, this thing is not leaving me. I'm not escaping it. I've prayed for it to go away, and my prayers have not been answered that way. But if I'm going to have to endure this, what good can come of it? How can I change? How can I be better? And then something about that empowers you
It
to
does.
help the next person along.
Well, yeah, I think um, and it has to be the switch. Somebody's there. If it's not you internally, naturally, finding it, then someone has to be there to coach that and to say, look, what are we going to spin this into? How are we going to change this so that, it can be, it can't define everything about you. You're going to still find your purpose through this
Hmm.
and not let it derail you from your purpose. I think that purpose driven life and all the things,
Hmm.
the many different things that are out there for people to read and do and help us. I've been fortunate enough to come across hundreds of them. So, and I just think that we've really got to stay vigilant. And
Yes.
and I just think that I've been really blessed to continue to find ways to dive in here locally and um, get plugged in. And I think that that's a big deal. And I think it's done more for me than I've done for it.
Yes. Well, so we're coming to the end of the show.
Okay.
And at the Make Me Better podcast, what we really like to do is the last couple minutes just talk about you personally, which I know there's so much more to you, and there's like years and years after this story that
Sure.
we don't have time for today. But that's when the transformation began. You said it
Mhm.
was the awakening. So, how did going through that difficult situation make you better? Like, what kind of person are you today, you think, because you went through that?
Well, having been in a lot of bad spaces, I'm definitely less judgmental, more empathetic, and I can relate to just about every complaint somebody comes in with. And I can it's easier to meet people where they are and to understand the difficulties they're going through and then try to help them see that, that I'm not there just to make them feel better. I'm there to help them be better. That they're going to be some version of themselves. We all are. It's just what version?
Yes.
What version am I? Am I, so I'm probably Dr. Chad 10.0,
I love it.
like, and but where are they and what's limiting them becoming the better version, physically, mentally, spiritually, all the things that we have to tend to allow ourselves to be not. I often know, I like to think of it. It's not what are we going to make ourselves. It's how are we going to get out of the way of us becoming what what God has for us. Most of the time, we're limiting Him, not
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
we're the limitation.
Yes.
And we just
Yeah.
got to get out of the way and let it happen and follow our intuition
Yeah.
and all the things. And I think that that's what it's done for me is I've gotten to see that personally. And now it's easier to be there to help other people recognize where they're at and have a possibility and some hope.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Because if we don't get out of the way or figure out what is in the way, we're just going to keep going around that same mountain,
Absolutely.
for 40 years or whatever.
Yes.
And we've got to finally just humble ourselves, I think,
Mm,
maybe as part of it, and just realize, okay, there's something in me maybe that I need to get rid of, that I need to work out, that I need to allow God and allow these circumstances to kind of change me, if you
absolutely.
need to be softened up a little bit or something like that. But you have to realize that these challenges in your life are not just something for you to go through, but something for you to grow through.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite mentors, Mark Supernaut, he said when he would call as a coach for me, he would say, "All right, man, well, what's something that you need to keep doing? Tell me something you need to stop doing, and now tell me something you need to start doing."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it was awesome, and that's how we opened up every call. And then he would say,
That's
"Okay,
great.
I like that. Change this to this," and I just really do. What do we need to stop doing? What do we need to start doing? And what do we need to keep doing? And looking at what's really working in our lives, and to allow us to be that.
Okay, I'm gonna steal that.
Oh, awesome! I stole it from him.
Yeah.
At least, but I did give you credit, Mark.
Okay. Yes. Yes. We give credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you so much for spending your time telling us maybe something that's a little bit uncomfortable from your
sure.
past, but it's all for a purpose and somebody needs to hear that. And then maybe it gave you a little boost too and reminded you, sometimes we have to go back and remember those things that
Mm,
we've put so far behind us and really be thankful. Like, oh, I haven't thought of that in a long time, but man, that gives me such a heart of gratitude right now because
absolutely.
you have to go back and remember sometimes where you were because now can be such a good place. You forget, man, I really should be thankful for where I've come from and the things that I made it through.
Absolutely. I do. I really am very thankful for all those amazingly tough things. So,
Yes, because it made you better.
absolutely, it made me who I am. I certainly wouldn't be where I am or who I am without it. And now that I'm on the other side and some 30 years past it,
Yeah.
um, it's good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And thank you for listening to the Make Me Better podcast.